Hi guys, John Carver. Welcome back to the show. The theme today is how to deal with people. Well, you say, John, you're not exactly around a whole lot of people right now. Exactly my point. You and I cannot go through life without dealing with people. Living in a place like this is, for some of us introverts, a dream. If you're like most people, you have to be around people more times than maybe you care to be around people. And I'll get into that more detail here in a minute or two. But there's some of us that draw strength from people, and there are some of us who are drained by people. But either way, you and I have to deal with people every single day. That's the big picture of this show. So starting out on the show, I want to share the 4 types of people that are on the planet. You say, John, there's several billion people on the planet. I understand that. But really, when you mix all those people together and put them in groups, there's really only 4 types of people. So let me run through that quickly with you so that you can maybe identify a little bit more about yourself and also people around you. The first 2 sets of people I want to share are the extroverts. That is, people that are outgoing. So some people call them the extreme outgoing people. They call them, going back now a couple thousand years, they're called the cholerics, C-H-O-L-E-R-I-C, choleric personality style. Now, those personality styles tend to be extremely outgoing. They tend to be the military generals. They tend to be the cheerleaders. They tend to be people that are very adamant about their way is the right way. Because your way is the wrong way. Their way is always the right way. They're very in your face, very direct, oftentimes very, very rude. However, they do not need to be motivated to do what they need to do. Think about that a minute. How many times you maybe need a little motivation to do what you needed to do? Well, these people do not need to be motivated to do what they need to do. They are the choleric personality styles. Now that's the good side, but there's also a dark side to all 4 temperaments, all 4 personality styles. Now also, the choleric personality style can be very cold and uncaring. Maybe they aren't, but they come across as very cold and uncaring because feelings don't matter to cholerics at all. Because they need to do what they need to do. I kind of liken them to a bull in a china closet or a bull in a china store. They come in and they tear things apart to get what they need to get and phooey on everybody else around them. That's the choleric personality style. Again, that's one of the outgoing groups of people. Then you have the sanguine, S-A-N-G-U-I-N-E, the sanguine personality styles. These are people that I call the partiers. They like to have fun all the time. They're very disorganized. They know a lot of people, but they don't know a whole lot about those people. Their relationships are wide, but they're not very deep. They're very happy people. They are, I'm going to be polite. Well, I can't be polite explaining this. They are slobs. They tend not to be organized. We'll get to the organizers here in a minute. But they are not very organized at all because being organized is not a priority. Having fun, being out there. Details are not important to sanguines at all. In fact, details are not important to cholerics either, the 2 outgoing temperaments of the 4. They're not into details at all. So if you are working around or for and or with a sanguine, understand that they are not going to be in the details. They're going to be out front. They're going to be in front of everybody doing things, but how they manage the stuff in the background, there's no management at all. They just do it on the fly. That's a sanguine personality style. So you have the choleric and the sanguine. Both are outgoing, but the choleric is very abrupt, very in your face, my way or the highway, I'm in charge. The sanguine is more, I just want to have some fun. I'll get the job done when I feel like it, but I want to have fun in the process. So if you're leading a group of sanguines, you have to make sure that the image that you're portraying to the sanguines is about fun. Don't expect them to do anything regarding details or being in charge or being bossy. It just isn't likely going to happen. That's the extroverts. Then you have the introverted side, the shyer group of people that are the other half of the 4 personality styles. So let's talk about that for a minute. The first one is the phlegmatic, Phlegmatic, the phlegmatic group. Now again, these titles that I'm sharing are 2,000 plus years old. The phlegmatic group are very logical. They're very detail-oriented. They do not like to be in front of people. They're incredibly shy, but very deep. They don't have a whole lot of friends, but they know a lot about the handful of friends that they have in their circle. Their circle is very small, but it's a very deep and very solid core of people in their circle. What you don't want to do with a phlegmatic is put them in the spotlight without them having time to plan. Phlegmatics are planners. In fact, if you have an engineer in your family, they're probably a phlegmatic. If you have a teacher in your life, they are probably a phlegmatic. If you have an accountant in your family or coworker, they're probably a phlegmatic. Again, they're very detail-oriented, not very emotional publicly. In fact, you would view them, if you were looking at them from afar, you would probably judge them as being very cold and uncaring, because you wouldn't know what was going on between their ears, because they don't give off any sense of what's going on internally. Even though deep down inside, they may be crying, they may be angry, they might be struggling with certain things, but you wouldn't know it because they're cool and calm most of the time. That's a phlegmatic. They're very introverted. They draw strength. Listen, they draw strength from being alone. The choleric and the sanguines draw strength from being around other people. That's how they bulk up emotionally, being around other people. The phlegmatic, that drains them instantly, being around other people. Phlegmatics draw strength from being independent, by being alone. Then the other introverted personality style is called the melancholy. The melancholy is shy, oftentimes artistic, musical, and quite emotional. Melancholies need to be very careful because their lives, at least internally, when their emotions go up, they feel good. When their emotions go down, they feel bad. And there's a rare day when they're a happy medium. That can be a problem. Melancholies love people. They care deeply about people. They have a broader circle of friends, and they try to get into the depths of those relationships much more deeply than a sanguine or a choleric personality style. Melancholies, they don't like conflict at all. They want everybody to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. You know, they want to sing, "We are the world, we are the children." They want everybody to get along. They will go out of their way to make a difference in people's lives. They will sacrifice everything they have in order to benefit somebody else. And that can be seen and taken advantage of by some cholerics, so you need to be careful of that. Melancholies tend not to be organized. In fact, 90% of the time, they're not very organized. So it's really smart, if you're a melancholy, or at least have some of those characteristics, is that you want to hang around people that will keep you organized and that will keep you motivated. So let me kind of delve into that just a little bit with you. So let's say, for an example, you're a melancholy and your emotions can go up and down like the waves of the ocean. So wouldn't you want to hang around people that are more even-keeled? Because sometimes when your emotions go up and when your emotions go down, you tend to want to go up and down with the emotions. So what I've done over the years is I've chosen to, in a variety of ways, hang around people that are more level-headed and more even-keeled than other people. Let me give you a more specific explanation. I can't hang around people that are too emotional on either side. Because just again, I'm sharing a little secret about me. When I get around those people, that's how I'm wired, I struggle with it, but I tend to be as emotional as they are or as emotional as they are at the moment because I'm a feeler. I feel other people's pain, I feel other people's struggles. So if I want to be level-headed and even-keeled emotionally, around other people. If you're a melancholy, you want to hang around the people that are more even-keeled. Now, here's another situation. Melancholy doesn't do very well working for cholerics. Cholerics are the outgoing, my way or the highway, because the choleric is going to be domineering to everybody under their influence. So if you're a melancholy and you're the introverted, emotional kind, the choleric can pretty much run right over you because their way is the right way, at least in their own mind. So unless they understand the 4 different types of people, you can have real conflicts with people that you work with. Now let's kind of tear that down a little bit more. Let's say you're a sanguine personality style. Remember, that's the group that's emotional, they're outgoing, they like to party, they like to have a good time, they know a lot of people, but they don't know much about those people. Then if you're struggling with disorganization, which you probably are, because that's not important, then you want to build people into your life that can help you in that area of weakness. No, it's not going to be your strength ever. I get that. But unless, just let me say it this way. If you had phlegmatics in your life that would help you get organized and or stay somewhat organized, you're going to be able to do a lot more and have more fun because you're not going to be searching for stuff in your life because they're not organized. Each temperament is a very, very strong temperament that can be leveraged in a way that's extraordinary. I found in my own circles that a lot of employers do not understand the 4 temperament styles. So they throw people into jobs or they put people in positions that they don't understand how people are wired. They manage them wrong, they lead them wrong, and they're not getting the best out of each employee. So imagine if every employee would understand how everybody's wired. Let me kind of switch gears on you. Ann Landers, if you know who she is, wrote an article some years back called The 10 Commandments of How to Get Along with People. I want to share that with you right now. She said, number 1, keep skid chains on your tongue. Always say less than what you think. Cultivate a low, persuasive voice, and how you say it often counts more than what you say. Again, how you say it often counts more than what you say. Kind of goes back to what I was saying moments ago. There's a right way to say certain things, and there's a wrong way to say certain things. She said, number 2, make promises sparingly and keep them faithfully no matter what the cost. I was just sharing with a friend recently that I have placed myself in good situations because I publicly said I was going to do certain things to push me to do certain things that I knew that I should do, but I was afraid to do. So I said I was going to do them, like these shows, but I was scared to do them, never done them before until we started them 2 years ago. Then either I was going to do them, face my fear, or not do them and be viewed as a liar and a coward. So there are ways for you and I to overcome some of the own personal struggles that we have if you master how each of the 4 people are wired. Number 3, Ann Landers writes, never let an opportunity pass to say a kind and encouraging word to or about somebody. Praise good work, regardless of who did it. If criticism is needed, offer it gently and never harshly. I was at a place recently, and somebody was attacked verbally, and it was justified, but how they were attacked verbally was not very kind. So while I was there, I went over to the person that was attacked, and I'm not going to get into the details of what exactly happened, but I encouraged them, inspired them, motivated them, apologized to them as a result of what I saw. As a result, the whole situation changed with the person that was attacked because I saw that they were hurt. I saw that they were doing their best, and I picked them back up because they were emotionally done. Number 4, Ann Landers. Be interested in others, their pursuits, their work, their homes and families. Make merry with those who rejoice and weep with those who mourn. Let everyone you meet, however humble, feel that you regard him or her as a person of importance. Think about that a minute. Number 5, don't burden or depress those around you by dwelling on your minor aches and pains. I want to slow down and share this again. This is a big one. Number 5. Don't burden or depress those around you by dwelling on your minor aches and pains and small disappointments. Remember, everyone is carrying some kind of burden, often heavier than your own. How many times haven't you seen on Facebook somebody post that they're struggling with X, Y, or Z? And then there's multiple posts under that. Well, I went through this. Oh, man, you're dealing with that. I'm going through. They're trying to up one the person that they're struggling with. Why? It's not necessary. I've done it. You've done it, I'm sure. Number 6, keep an open mind. Discuss, but don't argue, Ann Landers says. It is the mark of a superior mind to be able to disagree without being disagreeable. It took me a long, long time. I'm talking years and years and years to disagree without getting ugly. Haven't you been in situations where you've gotten ugly with people because you disagreed with them? There's no rule book that says everybody needs to agree with you. It just doesn't exist. So why do you think that everybody needs to agree with your perspective when it's unlikely going to happen anyway? Number 7, let your virtues, Ann Landers says, if you have any, speak for themselves. Again, let your virtues speak for themselves. Refuse to talk of others' vices. Discourage gossip. It is a waste of valuable time and can be extremely destructive. Don't talk about others' weaknesses. I mean, I shared an article I wrote the other day, or maybe just 24 hours ago before I taped this show, about how easy it is for people to assume certain things. In essence, I said, people will take a piece of a chapter of your life. Again, they'll take a piece of a chapter in your life, they'll misinterpret it, they'll rewrite it, and publicize it as nonfiction when it's actually fiction. So then other people read their words and they assume of what they know you and know the details when they don't even have a clue because they don't live with you. They don't walk in your shoes. They don't live your life. They don't live in your home for sure. But then they're spreading out all this stuff around you. So what I said in the article I wrote is that why would you waste so much time trying to correct fiction when you know it's fiction? So the time you're wasting trying to correct the fiction distracts you from doing what you are wired to do and that what you need to do for your life. I have to take my own advice for that almost every day because most days I get attacked online by people that don't have a clue and they're writing fiction and spreading fiction about me and members of my family and friends, and they don't have a clue. They really don't have a clue. Some of the stuff is like dramatically different from reality. Number 8, again, Ann Landers' advice. Be careful of another's feelings. Wit and humor at another person's expense may do more damage than you will ever know. Let me share a story with you. Back in the old days, when I was about 6 years old, my first grade teacher used to tease me in front of the classmates. She would take I had dark hair then, she would take the back part of my hair and stand it up like alfalfa was in the Little Rascals program back from the 1930s and 40s. No, I'm not that old, but everybody in the class most of the kids in the class used to watch the reruns on TV. So she would call me in front of my classmates alfalfa. Now, again, I was 6 years old. Now, why would she do that to a 6-year-old stuttering kid who was afraid of his own shadow? And that issue, that pain stuck with me for a number of years through most of my school life because I was more times than not the brunt of other people's jokes. And I know how that impacted me. And I can only wonder when you do that to other people how that impacts them and potentially could impact them for a number of years later. Number 9, Pay no attention to disparaging remarks. Remember, the person who carried the message, Ann Lander says, may not be the most accurate reporter in the world, and things become twisted in the retelling. Live so that nobody will believe them. Live that nobody will believe them. Number 10, she says, don't be too eager to get the credit due you. Do your best and be patient. Forget about yourself and let others remember. Again, let others remember success is much sweeter that way. Some people just want to get the credit for stuff that, frankly, they don't need to get the credit. I told somebody just before this show started, is that I don't really care if I get thanks or people recognize me in the shows at all. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that people will take what we show and share on these shows and leverage it and do better in their life. That's the goal of the shows anyway, because we don't earn a penny for doing any of these shows ever. It's just not how it's done. It's not an income-producing endeavor. Believe you me, it costs us money to do these shows. So the goal is to inspire, to motivate, to help people move up and to do better in life. So if your why is bigger than what you're doing, then you're going to be able to impact a lot more people in the world. A guy named Micah wrote, nobody has the answers. Nobody's listening to you, he says. Nobody is looking out for your interests. Nobody will lower your taxes. Nobody will fix the education system. Nobody knows what he's doing in Washington. Nobody will make us energy independent. Nobody will cut government waste. Nobody will clean up the environment. Nobody will protect us against terrorist threats. Nobody will tell the truth. Nobody will avoid conflicts of interest. Nobody will restore ethical behavior in the White House. Nobody will get us out of Afghanistan. Nobody understands farm subsidies. Nobody will spend your tax dollars wisely. Nobody feels your pain. Nobody wants to give peace a chance. Nobody predicted the Iraq war would end in a disaster. And nobody expected the waves to tear across town. Nobody warned that the housing bubble would collapse. Nobody would reform Wall Street. Nobody would stand up for what's right. Nobody will be your voice. Nobody will tell you what others won't. Nobody has a handle on this. Nobody but you, that is. Never forget, a small group of people can change the world. No one else ever has. So when you look around me here, there's nobody in this huge building but me and the camera. So I'm wondering, if you look around in your own life and you look around and you see there's really nobody on your team, but you know what? You're the one who's responsible for building a team of people around you, because you're the leader of your own destiny. You're the driver of your own vehicle in life. You see, if you surround yourself with people that can complement you, not in the sense of you're a good guy, but can leverage your strengths, I should say, can leverage your strengths, and that you can recruit people around you that will leverage your weaknesses, then you're going to get so much farther faster. In business, I've been able to do that several times. I've chosen to bring people on the team that were really good in areas that I'm pretty lousy at. And I'm lousy at quite a few areas, but I'm really good at other areas. So then why would I waste so much time trying to get better in areas that I know I'm weak, instead of surrounding myself with people that are really good in my weak areas so that I can focus on my good areas, my strong areas, my areas where I excel? So that's a philosophy that some people don't understand. Some people say that you need to invest time to get better at stuff that you're bad at. Think about this. What if you do exactly what I shared a moment ago? Let that go and focus on areas that you're good at, but you want to be great at. Because then it's a whole lot easier to get from good to great than to get from horrible to okay. Doesn't that make sense? Why not invest time in areas where you're good, but need to get great? There's less of a gap from good to great than it is from horrible to okay. Do you understand? So what I'm asking you today is to surround yourself with the 4 types of people that can leverage your weaknesses, tap into some of the strengths of people around you by reading their books, talking to them, mentoring them, and you learning from them. And you're going to find that the people that you allow into your life, that you recruit into your life, can change your life in a dramatic way that in 12 months' time, you'll look back and say, wow, I'm so glad I followed John's advice. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back real soon. I believe in you. Don't forget it.